Are we going to let them make us afraid to leave our homes?
No!
Are we going to let them push us back into the closets?
No!
Are we going to let them push us back into the shadows?
No!
Is your life up for debate?
No!
Is your gender up for debate?
No!
We all have rights, and I believe that when a female or a male's in the restroom, he should believe that there's only men or women in the restroom with him.
If I were standing outside of a restroom and my wife in a public restroom, if someone was to try and walk in that restroom, I would try to stop them, peaceable if possible. But I'm telling you, I feel like if we don't do something, one of these days someone is going to get hurt.
Opening boys' and girls' restrooms and locker rooms to members of the opposite sex would directly violate this right to privacy. It would place students at risk of bodily exposure to the opposite sex that is demeaning, humiliating, and potentially harmful.
We have to consider everyone's right to privacy and protect all of our children from being placed in very uncomfortable, difficult situations. And at the end of the day, we have to enact policies based on fact and not based on feelings.
This is not about protecting people from discrimination. This is about using law as a mechanism and a tool to force those who disagree with the worldview of the age to conform to it.
As I've said from the very beginning, I think this proposal is pathetic. I think it's mean-spirited. I think it's discriminatory. And on top of all that, economically, it can be a disaster for South Carolina.
I come here because this is more than about just restrooms. This is about access to employment, education, and just about everything else in public life.
This law, which is unenforceable, protects no one. All it does is it serves to draw attention to the transgender community, people like me, who have been using public restrooms for years, and it will incite violence against them.
I'm not sure if when the creation of this bill was thought about, if children were thought about in regards to what they would need to face and have to face if they were forced to come out in their schools and in their communities if they are in the process of transitioning in a private manner.
You would be forced to come out if this bill were passed. Being forced to use what we would consider the wrong restroom would force all these kids out of the closet, which puts them at risk for more bullying and more violence.
I have been asked so many questions about why I have to use the nurse's restroom, and I don't feel comfortable dealing with their curiosity anymore. All I want is to be able to use the men's restroom with the rest of my non-transgender peers, but this doesn't happen, and it will never happen if this bill is passed.
This is my princess, my grandbaby who turned 3 yesterday. Senator, you are hurting them by your bill, which is going to insist that this man who was born a woman go to the ladies' room. Senator Bright's bill forces this man, because he was born a woman, to go to the ladies' room. My little princess is going to be frightened of him, Senator, in that ladies' room.
If someone wants to change their sex, they can change it. I mean, if they want to do that. But I think if a woman or a child, female child's in a restroom, they shouldn't have to deal with the fact that a man believes he has a right to walk in there because he identifies himself as that gender that day.
I can stand here today and tell you with every bit of blood in my veins and oxygen in my lungs, I'll do everything strategically possible to make sure this bill never comes before the full Senate.
Slave unto us!